وعنا وناسن دمانتين باخيارتا هودا naga daawanaysa kuwa online ka naga daawanaya iyo kuwa meel kasto caalamka jooga naga daawanaya ku soo dhawaada mar labaad barnaamijkii Dirirstream oo maanta inga imanaya magaalada Hargeysa caasimada Jamhuuriyadda Somaliland barnaamijkan uu ka duwan yahay barnaamijkii weegii hore aan la qabanay ee aan ka sheekeynay electionka waa sidii oo kale laakiin waxa maanta loo kacaya xagga ay carrada Ingiriis waxa lagu hadlayaa af qalan ayaan maanta ku hadlaynaa dadka halkan la fadhiyana waa dad ajnabi ah dhawaanna in sharaxi doono waa international observers waa goob joogayaal ka caalamiga ah waxay markaasi ka kala yimaadeen 60 wadan oo ka kala duwan waxaana ka yimaadeen qaarad ilaa qaarad si ay u ilaaliyaan una goob joog u noqdaan doorashada dhawaan ka dhacaysa Somaliland waa 13 November 2017 haddaba markaasi iminka wixii ka dambeeya waxaan ku hadlayaa afka qalaad waana naga raali noqonaysaa hooyo iyo aabo haddaan fahmin ka dambeeya wuxuu noqon doonaa Soomaali. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dirirstream. It's a live show. You can always watch your tablet, your iPod, your iPhone, whatever you are. You can join in the debate, Dirirstream. Hashtag Dirirstream. Today we have a really interesting topic. Topics about election. Well, election in Switzerland. Now, election in East Africa and election in Somaliland. We have experts who have been coming to Somaliland last 3 elections, and we have newcomers who come first time to Somaliland. Let me introduce you my guest, Dr. Michael Wolf. He did a PhD in politics in Somaliland, and he wrote a beautiful book. He will tell us all about. And Suzanne Mwabi from Tanzania. It's the first time she come here. She has been observers for many countries, Ethiopia, Kenya, and so on. Michael, welcome to Dirirstream.
Thank you.
We go a long way back. I think it's the first time here.
It's been quite a few years.
Yeah, I've been 12 years interviewing you.
Yeah, at least.
Absolutely. Michael, tell us why you're here in Somaliland today.
So this mission is about the election. So I'm leading the International Election Observation Mission to the elections that are scheduled for 13th of November. So that's the purpose of the visit. We're bringing a group of 60 observers from, at the moment it's 25 countries. I think it may be even 26 or 27 by the time we've finalized all of the details. So most of that group will come on the 8th of November. They will stay for a week and they will be deployed into all of the regions throughout Somaliland to observe the election on election day.
Wow. Before we go far, you have been here election from last 2 elections, right? What was the experience to see the other government giving the Kulmir party? You have been witnessing a huge change of the local elections. What was the experience in Somaliland?
I think Somaliland's built up a really impressive record of elections, not just elections, but peaceful elections and elections in which power has changed hands. I mean, if there's any purpose to elections, it's really to decide who's going to lead the country, govern the country, and so on. And the point of elections is that they're a way of doing that peacefully. The other alternatives are generally worse. So what Somaliland has, it's not just that the elections are there, but they are somehow some kind of pretense. They're not a pretense, they're actually real. So exactly as you said, in 2010 we saw the phenomenon of the incumbent losing an election and then handing over peacefully to the victor of the elections within the constitutionally mandated 1 month. That's a really significant step, not just for Somaliland, but anywhere.
Well, I come back to the election and the how election, and where are you going to go? Interesting. You're going to go to Las Ana, to Zayla? Long way, long trip. I'll come back to you. Susan, first time in Somaliland, right?
Yes.
How is it?
It's amazing. It's interesting. So much to learn. Rich culture, nice people, exuberant environment.
Is it sweet people or nice people?
Nice people.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And I think with the campaigns, it's very colorful.
Okay.
There's a lot of energy.
Right.
So it's so far been a good experience for me.
Tell me your experience before. You have been in Ethiopia and Kenya. I mean, how is the campaign going on there? Is it really the same or?
I think Ethiopia had its elections and they were done. Kenya is also done. They had their elections and results were announced recently. And now I'm here.
And you're here?
My experience has been around elections, has been across many countries. I've observed over 15 elections and electoral processes.
15 elections?
Elections and electoral processes.
Wow.
So that would include referendums, pre-election assessments, and those kinds of things across different countries in Africa. So every election is unique in its own way, and Somaliland, I guess, will also have its own unique dynamics.
Absolutely. And you have been reading before Somaliland election, the previous elections. It was interesting, wasn't it? Compared with the rest of the East Africa.
I think, like I said earlier, every country has its own unique way of conducting elections. There's of course the regional instruments, the international instruments that and the international principles that govern elections. But when you go to each country, you find that every country has its own country-specific unique dynamics. And I think Somaliland has a lot of that. We see it in the way they incorporate the international, regional, and their own local context into the way they manage the electoral process. So, yes.
Oh, interesting. Do you know where you're going to go?
I have a good idea where I'll go. Since I'm in the core team, I'm not too sure where I'll be deployed, but I would definitely be supporting the supervision of those that will be sent out into all the regions of Somaliland.
Are you going to looking forward?
I'm looking forward to it.
And the roads are nice now.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Tell me all about
Better
it.
than before. I'll tell you about it. Don't forget it. This has been sponsored from Has Petroleum, and we have been really thankful sponsor for this program. And do not forget it, we are at the most beautiful building in Somaliland, Som Cable, the heart of Hargeisa. So you can tune in through TV, you can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us in Inspire Group, we're all there. You can send your questions, I'm here, the laptop, the phone, here, you can ask any questions you want. I can tell you the Michael's name, it's a Michael. So you can ask anything. Michael, come back. For my second question, how many are you?
How many?
Yeah, the international observers, if I put the right word, as you say to me. The international observers, how many are you guys?
So the observer team is 60 in total, which includes us.
Yeah.
So there are 5 of us on what we're calling the coordination team, which combines some of the functions of different roles within election observations traditionally. So 5 people organizing things and doing the analysis of the election, and then another 55 are short-term observers, STOs. So those are the ones that will be deployed around the country.
So that would be, where are they going to be? Are they going to be in Sailor? Because some of the regions we know last election, you could not take the foreigners, you have to take Somalis. And this election, there was no Somali diaspora, Somaliland diaspora, if I put the right word. How is it going to happen?
Well, I've traveled to all those places, so I guess if I can go there, then other people can go there.
So you can go to Las Anod?
Yes, I've been to Las Anod.
Is that what the Western call the dangerous city or the red?
It wasn't dangerous when I was there. I've been there a couple of times, and it's fine.
So there will be observers in Las Anod?
There will be observers in Las Anod, yes.
Well, where else?
As much as we can extend to around the country. There will be some locations where maybe the polling stations will operate or not operate, and there'll be a security assessment as we go. But we'll be covering as much of the country as we possibly can.
I mean, there's going to be 1,642 polling stations.
That's right.
You only, how many, 64?
60.
60, sorry, I apologize with 60. How are you going to manage?
Well, we're not saying we're going to cover all of the polling stations.
Okay.
That's not possible. And that would not be normal for an international election observation mission. The idea is to cover enough of a sample of the polling stations that we can comment on the process as a whole. So we have to deploy to all of the regions, and we will deploy to as many districts as we can. So out of the 21, I can't promise that we're going to be in 21 districts, but we will be in almost all of the districts. So we have a methodology, we have maps, we're going through, we're working out how we distribute the deployment of the observers, and we cover as much of the country as we can across as many different areas as we can.
So there will be a tough challenge, wasn't it?
It's a tough challenge, but it's a challenge that we've done before. As you said, we've been involved. I was part of the organizing team for 2005. I was one of the coordinators of the observation in 2010 and 12. So we've done it before. In the past, this team is a little bit bigger than we had in the past, but not much. There was 1 year there were 55 observers in total. It was a slightly looser group. This time we have a bit more ability to coordinate the team, and that way it makes it a little bit easier.
Much easier that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a question that's coming up. There's a question that says I mean, Somaliland coming a long way. They have a live debate in Inspire Group, the Young Somali Land, without sponsor for the Western, happens. What was your experience? Have you seen the debates? The election, the president debate? Suzanne?
We got here a day, just when a day after the debate.
All right.
So we missed it, but we followed the conversation on social media.
Yeah.
It appeared to have added quite some value to getting the electorates to to understand the manifestos and the plans that their potential leaders would be providing once they're elected into office.
For the last 15 places you have been working, elections, have you ever witnessed live debates?
Yes.
In Kenya only? In Africa? Where else?
Uganda,
It happens?
Zambia. Yes. There
Okay.
have been a number of presidential debates that have been taken, and it seems it's becoming a very common thing in most of the African countries. So that's.
What was your experience, Michael? You watched a live program?
No, as Susan said, we were actually travelling at the
Okay.
time the debate was happening. So we missed that, but we caught up with people who were there, people that organised it, people who were represented and so on. So I think we got a pretty good background on what happened, how long it was, what the questions were, what the discussion was, and so on. So we followed with interest.
I mean, I can tell you, there was long hours. It was more than
I think 4 hours of
4 hours.
debate, yeah.
I'm glad with it, and the Inspired Group did amazingly.
Yeah.
My other question is when you see this kind of like a debate, it didn't happen the last election when the President Silanyo win the election. What do you think would happen? Or are we going forward when it comes?
I mean, it's hard to sort of define exactly, because in any country there are things that improve and things that go backwards and things that just change, and you can't tell whether they're good or bad. So that's just the natural evolution of anywhere. I think it's fair to say that the Somaliland political environment has matured. And maturity is not always a good thing, you know. Sometimes it's good to have the naivety of youth. And Somaliland for a lot of time has been able to rely on that, I think, in elections. So I think, and I'm talking not about just this election, I'm talking about the process as a whole. I've been coming here for quite a long time, and you know, I've seen quite a lot of changes. So yeah, absolutely. You can certainly call that growing up. Somaliland is growing up politically as a nation.
Cool. Come back again from a kind of like other general. How does it happen when the election finished on the 13th, when we vote, everybody go out and vote 13th of November? What's your role after that? After the election is done?
It depends whether you're asking me personally or you're
No, I
asking
mean, there are
the
observers. I mean, you're here for observers. You're not here for Michael Walls.
No, but then I'll be back right afterwards for something else. So.
No, I'm just talking about, I mean,
yeah.
when the election, how does the process
Yeah,
works? Are you
sure.
going to do reports? Are you going to tell who wins it? Is that your...
At the same time as that happens. And then after that, sometime later, we'll produce a public report which will also include the analysis of what happened after the election was over, because sometimes that takes some weeks or months to settle down.
Let's say if the dispute comes, like what happened in Kenya, I hope they're going to happen. What's your role? What's the international observer's role?
Our role throughout, in a way you can say our role doesn't change. Our role is to observe and to report. We're observers, we're outsiders, and we're not there, we cannot be there to sort of fix problems or whatever, because that would be inappropriate. It's a Somaliland election. Somaliland needs to do this the way Somaliland needs to do it. So if there's a dispute, the dispute will be, depends whether it's in the process or afterwards, but it will either be the responsibility of the Commission or the responsibility of the courts to work out what's happening, and that's the way it should be. What we'll be doing, what our role is to observe those processes, to report on what's there, to make recommendations on how we feel maybe legal frameworks can be improved or where they're strong, that kind of thing. So our role is to report, observe and report.
Just tell information. There was a peaceful election happens, right? Is there?
I hope a peaceful election happens.
Susan, in your experience, do you see in a conflict, other country disputes, but the parties not agreeing with it? What was your experience for that?
In terms of dispute resolution,
Yeah.
every country has its own dispute resolution mechanism, and my experience varies from country to country. Election petitions are things that happen all the time when parties are not satisfied. I think it's part of the electoral process. And for Somaliland as well, we understand that there's a whole mechanism that exists for resolving disputes. So my experience has been different from country to country, so to say.
Well, great. What motto are you? What telex are you using? What kind of motto are you using when you report it? Let's say one of your polling stations in Sayla. You are in Hargeisa. Are you using MSM or what motto are you using?
We have a sort of very structured set of questions that observers use. So the observer teams all are working on the same structure of questions, which they'll be feeding back as quickly as possible into us, into the control center. We then analyze that data as quickly as we can. So some of that data will be delivered by phone on the day, some of it will be delivered in the forms once they return, and so on. So there's a variety of collection methods. But the period on election day and the couple of days afterwards is very intense, it's very busy because there's a lot of data coming in. So we're really processing that as fast as we can so that we can then put that into the preliminary report and statement.
Well, now you have the technology, internet fast, we have a show, we streaming live. Was that the experience before in Somaliland, before when you come to elections, the last two elections?
In the past elections, I didn't even have maps of polling stations.
Okay.
This time,
so thanks for the show.
This time there's some big steps forward, yeah.
All right, really. When it comes to technology, we have the most amazing fiber optic information, and we have a show. And thanks for their beautiful location they give us today. My last question is, finally, what's the message you're going to send to the people who's going to be voted, or what's your message, Suzanne?
My message is that voting is a very important process, and I think it would be good for all the eligible voters to go and vote and exercise their democratic right to say who they want to lead them. That would be my message, and that people should just, we all hope that peace will prevail and that they will make their opinions known through the ballot box.
And what's your message?
I think very much backing up what Susan just said. I think we've all got to remember, elections are a tense time of competition because there's a real, moment in time when you choose someone wins, someone loses, and the importance of elections are never perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect election, but the importance is they offer a way for a society, a population to make a decision, really important decisions about how that society is going to be governed. So elections are really important. So it's really important that anyone, as Susan just said, anyone that is eligible to vote goes and exercises that right. It's your choice, Somaliland. So we look forward to a peaceful election, we look forward to a good election, and we're really happy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. My last question, someone sending me, Ali Najis, a friend of mine from Burisa University TV, says, international observers, you come a long way, and well done. I hope you're going to show us the way you've done before. That's a comment. The other comment says, what will you, in a 5 years' time or 6 years' time, what will you think will you come back here? Susan, stop.
I don't know what I think when and if I come back here in 5 years' time, but I'll just hope for the best.
Yeah. And the last and the final question says, Michael, you have been here for many years, and you have been a good friend with Somaliland. Have you ever write any, you wrote a book, as I mentioned before, but have you wrote a recognition, when it comes to recognition of Somaliland leadership, what have you done? As a personal, that's not international observers now.
No, as an international observation mission, we have to be very careful not to be making political statements.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that relationship is there. But I think, I'm going to be back again. I'm keep working in Somaliland. I'm doing my best to understand the culture here, to understand what's happening here, and I hope by doing that we're able to make it clearer to the world what it's about, how things work, what happens, why it happens like that.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming. We say thank you to Michael and Susan, and we hope you best all international observers. For this program, we're going to end up here, and we wish you all the best. If you have any comments, you can join the debate, Dirirstreaming, or you can Facebook us, any comment, any programs, any thought you have, but you can always vote with us in a live streaming. Thanks for 3TV, who have done an amazing job with the production. Saeed Mir and his team. Thanks for the some cable, who have given us a privilege to be here and give us the internet. And thanks for our main sponsors, Has Petroleum, who have been established and well-named in this country. مدني مرويين gabagabadii barnaamijkan aanu ka hadlaynay international observers kama gobayaasha caalamiga ah joogay waxyaalo badan bay sheegeen haddaanad Englishka fahmaynin waanu ka xunaynaa wixii ku soo koobo laakiin fariintoodu waxay ahayd inaad si wacan codkaaga u dhiibatid amnina aad wadada ku martid si magac iyo maskaxba Somaliland quruxda badan ee Cabdikariim Axmed Mooga sheegay inta badan buu yiraahdo Somaliland quruxda badan aynu wada doonayno inaad kaarkaaga ku codaysid codkaagana qofka aad doonaysa siisid amniga iyo nidaamkana aad ilaalisid magacaygu waa Khadar Dirir barnaamijkan mid kale intaan ku kulmi doono waxaad nagala socon kartaan Dirirstreaming wasalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh